Okay, here's a quick build I've been doing just to kind of get away from doing the aircraft for a while. I decided to take one of my spare Star Trek Klingon Bird of Prey kits and knock it together real quick. Let me show you the lighting on it. Hopefully you can see this well enough. Well, here, I'll just pick it up. So I've got the engines going. I still need to finish painting that engine grill. This is the newer release of the kit that has the access gangway down here, just like you saw in Star Trek 3 and then Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, where they landed in San Francisco Park and Golden Gate Park and came down the ramp. You see I've got my forward floods in. I've got the torpedo in. What I've got is a pulsating yellow LED in there to show that it's got power. I may tweak that a little bit with some transparent red to give it more of an orange glow to it. But then I've got my blinking light on the bottom and top of the main bridge area, and that's just achieved with a single blinking LED inside. So really simple lighting arrangement for this. I've built a couple of these in the past, so this kit was nice because this newer kit, it gives you 3 variations for how to put the wings on, and this is the I guess the landing or flight mode as well, because you see the bird of prey like this hovering over the fishing trawler in Star Trek 4 as it was about to kill the whales that the Enterprise crew on the bird of prey was trying to kidnap to take back to the future to tell that space probe to leave the Earth alone because we have whales again. But you can also set it where the wings are level, straight across, or in the obverse to this, which is attack mode. And in the older version of the kit, you only have the 2 options, where the wings are straight across or in attack mode. And this new re-release of the kit, in addition to giving you the opening for the gangplank area, as well as for the cargo area, because this is where the whales, were released from. You also get the 3 different flight modes for the wings. There is a kit available now for these rib sections that allow the wings to actually articulate, but those kits are pretty expensive. The cheapest I ever saw it at one point was about $75 or $80, and now I see on eBay that they're going for as little as $130 and as much as $192. So I'm not going to be investing in one of those kits until the price becomes more reasonable. It would be cool to build one of these kits where the wings did fully articulate, but I can wait for that. So you can see the diorama base that I've put together. I did all of this work last night, glued it all so that I could come back in this morning and start working with it. And I like this layout that I've got. All of the exposed wood area, that'll be probably sand or fine ballast, I should say, from my railroad kit materials. And then I'm going to use the fabric paper mache material over the rocks to give the rocks an actual rocky look to them. So you can see all I did to form the basic rock shapes is get some styrofoam, and I got a ton of it from things I've bought in the past, things from IKEA and so forth. And then it's just a matter of playing around with this, like stripping some of this off to make a more rough surface on the top. Okay, so it's not quite so uniform or flat. Okay, so simple little things like that. And I decided to leave some of the edges on some of these pieces and just put those right up on the edge of the base, so that it is as if this has been carved out of somewhere. Okay, kind of like the Borg would do on their conquests. So when I lay the fabric over this, that'll really transform all this. And if you've seen some of my other video builds where I've done the rock formations, you see how well the rocks can turn out. And this is all you need to do to just kind of build it up at first. Is just get some styrofoam. You could also just use wadded up newspaper, and start draping the plaster fabric over it to get the kind of contour that you ultimately want to see. Okay, and you can see I've got some smaller pieces out here as boulders, and then everything will lay out with the sand. And so the ship will be basically like that. Okay, having landed in this rocky desert terrain for whatever reason that it's doing that. The only part of this kit that's really kind of a pain in the butt are the landing pads, the feet themselves. It's just, they don't tightly fit in, so I'm going to have to glue them in. But these are metal articulation arms, so they don't necessarily adhere with your modeling glue to the pieces. So I don't have them installed because I'm not finished painting the bird of prey itself. I still have some wing detailing to do on the top side and the underside, as well as all the detailing work on the ventral aspect of the ship here. You can see in the directions that are provided that they give you a detailed painting guide to replicate the studio model. But I like to just kind of fill it in myself in different ways. I don't really care too much to make an exact replica of the studio model. I kind of like to just personalize it myself. So I started with this darker kind of generic green rather than doing the olive drab that I've used on the other two builds that I've done with it. And this just gives a higher kind of contrast. And so when I do the more detailed panels in here with various other colors, so I'm going to be making use of my cockpit green. I'm going to be making use of my field gray. That's Tamiya XF65, and the cockpit green is XF71. I'll also be doing some minimal XF55 deck tan, as well as here and there some more XF58 olive green. You can see on the tops of the wings here the olive green that I've done. Okay, and I'm just doing those by brush. I'm not gonna, you know, these panels are so well molded that if you've just got a steady hand and a good brush, you can make that very, very clean. I don't want to sit here taping all of this stuff off so I can spray it. It goes much faster to just use your brush, and I'm just using one of my fine tip brushes right here. Okay, and it works perfectly fine. And you can see that because these panels on here are so well molded, you really can't screw it up. You really can't. But you do need to have a steady hand. I did a rough kind of stylization on these front pieces to the shoulder mechanism, I guess is what you could call it. But I forgot too, in looking at the instructions, this kit also actually comes with the decal that shows those details in there. So even though I kind of played around with it to see what I could do to try to replicate it, I remembered about the decals, and now I don't need to worry about it so much, because I'll just put the decals over that and that'll be fine. So that's about it. This is a really good kit, and I would recommend that you do light it. There's plenty of room inside here to do all kinds of lighting. You may see these slits right here. They kind of go all around. On my other build with this, I excavated all of those because those are yellow light sources. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be windows or not. Probably they are windows, but they are lit. So I excavated all of those, but that was a bit of a challenge because the plastic is not very thick, and you can see that you've got that very narrow line between each one. So you really run the risk of damaging the look to it by trying to do that. And I think what I'm going to do on this build of it is I'm going to, just take my trusty Testors yellow and just paint those yellow instead of lighting them. It is too late to light them now because everything's sealed up, and I'm happy with the outlook on it. But on that other build of mine, I've got them lit, and it's fine. It looks good. But didn't want to go to all that hassle with this one, because mainly I just wanted to build this display for it to give this scene. So you see that if I can get it in the right spot again, it does, let's see, there we go. It does stand up on its own without the landing pads on it. But that's only because I've got that fiber optic sticking down out of the front bottom here as a peg in the front. It obviously would not stand like this without the landing struts. So nice little kit if you want to venture into Star Trek craft that are also winged aircraft as well. I'd recommend this kit. All your skill sets that you build up in doing standard aircraft make you really over prepared to be able to do some fun things with this particular kit. But it is a very solid kit. Everything goes together very well. This is much better, this reissue version of it, than the original issue of it. And I'm glad that I picked it up, and now I'm glad that I've built one of these reissues, because it is, even though it is same molding and everything, there's just a bit more precision in it now, I think. So that, or I just got better, one of the two, who knows. So just wanted to share that with you. Thanks.